If you've worked in emergency management or public information for any amount of time, you've probably heard of the 95-5 concept. It's simple and it's accurate. About 95% of a public information officer's work happens during non-emergency times, and about 5% happens during incident response and even recovery. But here's what doesn't get said enough. That 5%, the incidents, the chaos, the pressure, the cameras, the radio traffic, that's where your preparation either shows up or it doesn't. And you don't get to practice the 5% when it's actually occurring. The idea behind the 95-5 concept is that what we do every day when nothing is on fire, when no one is hurt, and when the phone isn't ringing, that work has a direct impact on how successful we are during emergencies. It's not just about communication strategy. It's not just about messaging. It's about trust, competence, and credibility, both internally and externally. There are foundational PIO courses out there. There are advanced courses focused on Joint Information Center operations, and there are executive level programs that cover coordination and leadership. Those are valuable. But after more than a decade working as a fire department public information officer, I found something missing. Credible, experience-based training focused on the 5%. Not theory, not ideal scenarios, not best case outcomes, but what actually happens on the street at 2 o'clock in the morning with incomplete information, competing priorities, and real consequences. That's what this series is about. Over the next 10 weeks, we're going to deep dive into low frequency, high risk incidents one at a time. We'll start with the most common: residential, multifamily, commercial, new construction, and wildland fires. These are some of the most common incidents PIOs respond to and speak about. From there, we'll expand into the all-hazard environment: active threats, aircraft crashes, dive, ice, and water rescues, hazardous materials incidents, technical rescues, and serious traffic collisions. Every incident type we'll cover is something I have personally responded to as a public information officer. This is open access professional development, built from real experience and not a classroom slide deck. Before we get into any of that though, we need to pause. Because before the 5% ever happens, there's work that needs to be done. This episode is about preparation. Because failing to prepare is preparing to fail. Let's start with policy. Do you have a thorough understanding of your agency's standard operating procedures or policies related to PIO response? And I don't mean, yeah, I've read it. I mean, what incidents do you respond to? What incidents do you not respond to? What are you allowed to speak about? And just as important, what are you not allowed to speak about? For example, in my city, law enforcement handles all news and social media related to traffic collisions. If there's an EMS, fire, or rescue component that I want to share, that information is coordinated in advance with the police PIO before anything is posted. That's not optional, that's the expectation. If you work with more than one law enforcement jurisdiction, and many of us do you understand each agency's expectations? Not just the main one, but all of them. Do you know who their on-call PIOs are? Do you have current phone numbers, email addresses, a relationship that already exists before the incident occurs? Because trying to build trust during breaking news and active emergency scenes is a bad time to start. Now let's talk about notifications. How do you know something is happening? Do you have a reliable way to receive incident notifications and media inquiries? And here's a simple but an important question. When was the last time you called your own on-call PIO number? Does it still work? Is the voicemail accurate? Does it tell people what you want it to tell them? Once you've been notified and you need to respond, how does dispatch keep accountability on you? If you're assigned or issued a radio, do you have a radio alias or ID? Are you comfortable using the radio? Do you know how emergency buttons or mayday situations work? Have you practiced calling dispatch or units enough that it feels natural? Or does it feel awkward, or are you afraid to use the radio? If you use a dispatch app or a computer system, are you proficient with it? Or are you learning under pressure when you've been called to a fire? If the answer to any of these questions is no, or even I think so, now is the time to fix it, not later during a working incident. When I receive an incident notification that rises to the level of PIO involvement, I start at the very beginning. I read the dispatch notes from the top, I'm listening to the radio, and I'm playing catch up. My first step is simple. I take a screenshot of my tablet command map, wide enough to show major streets and the incident location, and I post it to X. Before I ever leave the house or wherever I'm at, I'm confirming that the incident is actually occurring, the correct block or major cross streets because the initial addresses are often wrong, what condition crews are observing, what actions they're taking, whether injuries have occurred, and whether evacuations or other safety messaging are time sensitive to share right now. I end the post by saying that there will be further updates to follow, and then I respond. A chief I used to work with used to say a lot, take time to make time. By taking a few minutes to push initial information, I gain something incredibly valuable: time. That post will be seen by every news outlet in my media market and likely a large number of community members. Even if there's a smoke plume visible over the city, that initial information usually buys me a little phone silence, and that silence matters. It gives me time to think about what's next while I'm safely driving to the scene and listening to the radio. When I route myself to an incident, I don't take the same path as the emergency vehicles. I plan an indirect route. That usually allows me to park closer, avoid congestion, and position myself in a more convenient location within walking distance of the scene. While I'm driving, I'm listening to the radio traffic, and I'm thinking about what I call the 20-2-2 rule of thumb. If the incident is under control within about 20 minutes, I probably won't need a media staging area. Unless there are injuries, fatalities, or mass displacement, media interest will likely be low. If the incident is trending towards 2 hours, deciding on a media staging area becomes a priority and a second PIO is a consideration. If the incident won't be resolved within 2 hours, I start thinking about multiple operation periods and a second PIO becomes a priority. PIO days escalate quickly. You have to be ready, not just for the incident, but for the duration. I've spent my entire adult life in the fire service, more than 20 years, doing various roles. I was a volunteer firefighter, I worked in 911 dispatch, and I've spent over a decade in public information. And one of the big changes as a PIO was being very independent. So I had to become self-reliant, have all of the things that I would need with me. And I will probably bring it up a few times throughout the 5% series that no one is more responsible for your personal preparedness and your personal safety than you are. So you really need to take this into your own hands, take it seriously, and plan for the worst. Even though we obviously hope for the best and that we'll never have to use these things, these are all things that I have had to use or wished I had until I bought one to carry with me. So with that, I'll walk you through what my EDC or everyday carry bag looks like when I'm at work. And some PIOs call this a go bag. To me, a go bag suggests that it's sitting on a shelf somewhere and it's ready for you to take it at a moment's notice. And it could be something that's not with you or something that you might forget or wish you had. And I think the purpose or the mindset behind an everyday carry or EDC bag is that this is with me all the time. I know that I have the things that I need. So we'll start off the top, and that's really with clothing. And here in Colorado, we have wild temperature shifts. So I don't have a different bag for winter than I do for summer. I responded to a wildland fire once in February of all days. It was a red flag warning, and we had a 54-degree temperature shift from when I got to the fire till the time I ended the fire and got to go home. Pumps were freezing on fire engines and it was just no fun. So I wanted to make sure that I carry everything all the time in case there's one of those wild moments that happen. Really thick gloves, super important to keep your hands warm. These ones are the E-tip style, so you're able to use these on a digital screen, cell phone, things like that. Beanie, I don't have any hair, so I require hats to stay warm and maybe look a little better, so I've got a beanie with me. Speaking of hats, I carry 2 styles of extra baseball caps with me. because I never know when I might need one. And part of this is a complete change of clothes, so that if I were ever contaminated with something, or maybe just a mess or smelled bad from smoke, who knows, I have an entirely different uniform and clothing setup in here. So if I had to throw away what I was wearing or it had to be deconned, I'd be okay. So I kind of have a summertime hat here that's ventilated, more of a warmer hat underneath that. The fire department I work for is awesome, and I've got a fire department issued raincoat that's nice and insulated, so the raincoat stays with me all the time. Along the lines of clothing, got a heavy sweatshirt, t-shirt, extra uniform pants, shorts, short socks for working out, long socks in case I have to wear the uniform, an extra belt, underwear. Literally everything is in here that I need to change clothes. On a lot of public safety YouTube channels and social media, I think people generally shy away from basic human needs, but not on this channel. So I'm gonna give it to you straight. These are things that I've needed and that I know other people have needed. I was on a water recovery one day where a car was in a pond. It drew quite a crowd from the community. There was no porta potties, no public restrooms, really no trees or bushes to speak of, and we were there for hours, and emergency responders found themselves in quite a predicament when they couldn't drive away to find a bathroom and there were none present and a whole crowd of people watching their every move. I went back to my car and I ordered 3 of these urinals on Amazon that day. They came the next morning, and I have 1 left that I carry with me because I've donated 2 to other emergency responders who were on the scene of incidents. And if you have to use one of these, it's better to have it than to not have it. If you can't find the privacy that you need in your PIO vehicle that you have on scene, typically there was going to be an ambulance or a medic unit there with us at the scale of incidents that we respond to. And so the people who I've handed these to that have had to use them, go and talk to the ambulance crew, let them know what's going on. They go in the back of the ambulance, have the privacy that they need, and then move on with the operation. So I've never regretted carrying this with me. Thankfully, I haven't had to use it yet, but I know other people who have, and so that's why I carry it with me. Along those lines, we just kind of never know when nature calls or what that might look like, so I carry personal wipes with me. These are things that I could use for my own decontamination if I had soot on me that I wanted to clean off, or some kind of body substance from a patient, or blood from a car accident. Hopefully that never happens, but if it does, I'm prepared. And also, along those basic human needs, if we do have to use the restroom, so to speak, wherever we are, these can come in really handy. And I showed you the number 1, I'll show you the number 2. One of my favorite dad jokes is, poop jokes aren't my favorite, but they're a solid number 2. So I bought the Trip Tips Outdoors Portable Folding Toilet off of Amazon. Nice and small package, more wipes in there too, just in case. And inside of this package, there's a collapsible toilet. So it expands out in kind of an accordion fashion. This is what it looks like. And then it was kind of tricky to put back together, almost like playing with a Rubik's Cube. So I marked it to know which side goes up. Once that folds out, and you can check them out on Amazon, there's a bunch of different brands. This isn't, sponsored or anything. But once it folds up, here is the toilet seat that sits on top of it. It has a lid on it and then a base. So the base kind of keeps that whole thing expanded. And if you have to use one of these, this will also work in a vehicle. I've done it to just know that I can sit on it in my car. It's not awesome. I would still recommend a medic unit if you have to do that. Can carry toilet paper with you, and then this actually is a little bag full of toilet bags for camping. So you fill this with a liner, and then there's powder that goes inside of it. The powder stops any unpleasant odor that might be there. You bag whatever business that you've just done, you tie it off, and then you can dispose of it after that. So thankfully, I've never had to take this out of the bag and actually use it on an emergency incident. But I have been on incidents where I have had to go to the bathroom really bad. Thankfully, I've been able to find one, but I know one day I'm not gonna be able to. So I take a little bit of comfort in knowing that I have this with me if I need it. Okay, so along the lines of comfort, the other things that I know that I need, I carry small packs of tissue with me. I carry this in my wildland bag too. The smoke, the soot can really get to me, and so lots of times I have to blow my nose, especially when we're in wintertime in Colorado. Before I have to do an interview with the media, the last thing I want to do is be wiping snot off of my face, and that's just the reality of it. Sunscreen is with me all the time because you just never know with Colorado weather if I haven't sunscreened up. Bug spray. My goodness, is this one important? It's caught me by surprise and other emergency responders by surprise, just swarms of mosquitoes sometimes. And so that is a big one to kind of help keep you comfortable, keep you a little bit safer. Hand sanitizer, carry that all over the place, but especially in my bag. Another thing I carry in my bag is a lint roller or pet hair roller. I have pets, a couple dogs and a cat, so I usually have hair on me at some point, but this has also kind of saved the day with people about to be camera ready or going on stage and realizing that their uniforms are covered. So I have those things. I also carry lip balm with me. I carry Advil, pain reliever, because you just never know. And then I get really terrible motion sickness when I'm riding along in fire engines, ambulances, especially if I'm in the back. So in case a ride-along catches me by surprise for some reason during the course of my day, I carry a pack of Dramamine as well. And then I also carry Imodium, anti-diarrheal, because you just never know where you're gonna be at, how long the incident might last. And so I've never regretted having those things with me. Let's see, the other thing I carry in here, a spare set of just utility gloves. So something with a little bit more dexterity than the winter gloves that I carry. Never regretted carrying those. There's been a number of times where I have witnessed or rolled up on traumatic incidents, especially car accidents where people are hurt pretty bad. This little bag actually can go on my Wildland pack as well, and I've used it for a few things over the years. So what's in there right now? I carry a set of safety glasses. I carry 2 pairs of medical gloves. This is actually an Amazon purchase as well. This is a window punch and seatbelt cutter. So just in case I were to have to escape a vehicle or if I needed to get into someone else's really quick, I have the ability there. I carry a pair of Raptor shears in here. I used to carry these on me, but I found that I didn't have a need very often, but I still wanted to have them. So these are like trauma shears, but they're strong enough that they can go through bunker gear or things like that if the worst happened. And then I also carry a tourniquet in this little bag for bleeding control. On my radio strap, which I'll get to in a moment, I carry one on there for myself as well. The other things that I carry in my bag, my everyday carry, I have water with me, usually in multiple places. My Wildland pack, my everyday carry bag, and then my laptop bag as well. I always make sure that I have plenty to drink. It's a good advice for all of us, I think, to probably be following the American Red Cross preparedness guidelines of what you should have in your vehicle, how much water and food you should carry. Obviously, that's a personal decision based off of where you are and where you travel, but I certainly carry those things. A collapsible shovel, and with bunker gear and with all the clothing, I feel like I don't need an emergency blanket, but you never know when it could come in handy for someone else. I carry a bunch of different snacks, and it's important that if you do carry these and water, that you use them and replenish them so that the day you need them, they're not super nasty. I carry things that for Colorado's climate, which is really wibble wobbly, I don't know if that's a word, but I just used it, temperature shifts. And so I want things that if they do melt in the heat or if they get frozen, they're still tenable to eat. So I have these dried fruit bars that I carry with me. I've got the Quest protein bars. These actually do really well and honestly taste a little bit better when they're melted. And then Nature Valley granola bars. So those things do pretty well in the temperature switches that we have. And if I need to have a snack, I've got them. Like I said, the really important thing is just making sure that you keep a mental note or put it on your calendar that maybe every 6 months or so, switch these out. All right, so that covers my everyday carry bag itself for the things that I need, and I'll touch on a couple other things. I am such an animal lover. I have pets. They are 100% my family, and I worry about the pets that other people have when we respond to emergencies. What I find is that usually the police and fire departments are very reliant on animal control to come and help if an animal is in distress. or if they need to put them somewhere safe. And sometimes it can take a while for animal control to get to our emergencies. So because of that observation, I started carrying some things with me to help pets if we need to. So a couple things. I carry a spare leash with me. This would really not be great for a huge dog, but for a small dog or a collared cat, it's better than nothing. So I do carry an extra leash in case that's needed. I have collapsible pet water bowls with me, so I know I'm carrying water. Our fire trucks are carrying water as well. I can pop these out, expand them, and be able to give a dog or a cat or whatever animal needs it some water. And then I've used pet crates over the years. The first one that I had belonged to my cat Forrest. Forrest passed away, and I didn't know if I would want another cat or dog even at all moving forward. I was kind of devastated over that. And as I was going through the things that belonged to Forrest, I had a pet carrier. And I thought, you know, maybe this would be a good way for Forrest and I to carry it forward and help other animals. So I started carrying that pet carrier with me, and I used it quite a few times. Displaced cats from fires, a cat that ended up being named Hazzy for hazmat that wandered onto a hazmat scene. It had been abandoned by its family who didn't want it, and wound up on our incident scene and needed someplace safe to stay. Also, ducks contaminated with diesel fuel have been in my pet crates before. They take up a lot of space though, so I looked into a problem-solving solution there and found a couple different ideas. Here's one. This is actually a collapsible pet crate, and there's two sizes. This is the larger one, it's yellow, and there's a smaller size that's blue. I carry this with me, and when I unlatch it, this turns into a pet carrier. So if we do have a displaced animal from either a traffic collision or a fire, we've got places to put them where they can be safe, and then put them inside of a vehicle. Really, that's not only for their own safety, but for the sake of your car as well, so that an animal's not going to the bathroom in there or tearing things up. But I have found that I've used this multiple times, and so I do not regret carrying this with me. Probably my most everyday portion of my everyday carry is my radio strap, and I bought this from Homeland 6 a number of years ago. In fact, I think it was the first time that I presented at FDIC. It's a nylon radio strap with lots of little belt loops on it, so it gives you a lot of freedom on where you can hang things or attach things to it. I carry my work iPhone latched onto it. It's a nice convenient place on my chest. I can hear it really well, and it's a really quick access camera, which is good for PIOs. I carry a very small, lightweight USB-C charging flashlight, and it has 3 modes to it. So there's kind of a floodlight mode, a spotlight mode, and then a red mode, depending on what the needs are. And this thing, the battery life is great. It's magnetic, it's super light, charges really fast on USB-C. So I actually have a couple of these, but this one where it rests on my chest is really handy. And then going further down my radio strap, I carry a cat tourniquet right there as well. And you might be noticing a theme of like bleeding control, stop the bleed. And that actually hit me really hard during a training scenario. I had been to a number of true active threat calls where people were shot, people were killed, but it was at a training scenario where it really hit home, and the actors were wearing blood packs. So they had like a Camelback water bottle pack in a backpack that's wired through some fictitious wounds where crews are able to actually use tourniquets on a real person. And the volume of blood that drained out, this is theatrical, but the volume of theatrical blood that drained out, oftentimes before a responder even got to the patient would have been dead. And in talking with the proctors, both paramedics and physicians who were taking part of that drill, some of us had the aha moment of, you know, maybe the cops were right on this one, and carrying tourniquets isn't a bad idea, whether that's for ourselves if the worst happens, or to be able to apply to somebody else. That's a really quick way to potentially take a trauma red patient down to trauma yellow patient and buy them some more time. And maybe that time we're buying is ours. So I always carry that on my radio strap. Sometimes I get funny looks, and it's just attached with rubber bands, so it's easy for me to pull off if I ever need it. But again, one of those things hopefully I never have to use, but I would rather have it than not have it. Speaking of phones, goodness, we use them for everything, right? Photography, texting, social media, and so If you're really working your phone hard, especially on incident scenes, the battery can go down pretty quick. I have magnetic charging on both my personal and my work phone. I have these cases where I can set this up and then it can sit on a desk and I can read it nice and well, but it actually still works really well with chargers. And so I have a magnetic attachment charger that can rest on the back of my phone. If I still want to use it on the desk, it's got that nice ability there. And then this will power my phone and recharge it as I'm using it. And it still gives me the ability to use the camera if I have to. So I have a number of charging blocks with me, but this one is what I keep close in case I do ever have to charge my phone when I'm on the incident scenes, which, as you all know, definitely can happen. All right, next up is what I carry in a digital environment for the things I need. And I'm not gonna go into my camera bags because that can be saved for another video, but I wanted to hit on the things that are really important for preparedness. I carry a power strip with me everywhere I go. It's in my laptop bag ready, and it's got a bunch of 110 outlets ready to go. It's got USB-Cs, it's got USB-As, and a little bit of a cord length on there. So no matter where I go, if I need to charge camera batteries or if I got to set up shop to work digitally with my laptop, I've got that. Always carry a laptop computer with me. And what I found to be the best for organization, and it's a little bit light right now, I've got some chargers in use here in front of me, but this is the gridded system, and they have 3 different sizes of these. It's a really nice way to organize and be able to see all of the things that I have and things that I might need. So chargers, storage drives, USB-A and C thumb drives in case I have to pass files back and forth with the PIO team, USB-C chargers, USB-C to A converters, all the little things along the way that I felt like I've needed or wanted, spare earphones. I've got all that stuff that just sits in this grid and it's ready to go in a digital environment. So that covers my EDC or everyday carry for PIO purposes, aside from my personal protective equipment, which includes bunker gear and wildland gear, and aside from my camera bags, which will be a standalone video of their own. But for the purposes of this 5% series, I want to give you some ideas on what I like to use, what I have found that I need, and I would love to hear how your go bag or EDC bag is set up, and what am I missing? You guys got to just see behind the curtain of everything I carry. Let me know if you think there's something else I should have that I don't know about, and we can share it with the group. Those are the resources I carry with me every day, because we never know when an average 95% day will turn into a career-defining 5% night. In the next episode, I'll start our first deep dive into residential structure fires. But before that happens, take a hard look at your preparation, because when the call comes, you won't have time to figure it out then. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.